Good morning, guys. I am coming to you from Sunland Park here in Seminole County because I wanted to talk a little bit first. This is more of a formal kind of break it down a little bit for you. Trooper Steve on patrol today. What we in the business call evergreen, but I had to learn because I was like, why do we call it that? But at the end of the day, it is a very simple traffic knowledge for you to have that we really encounter every single day. We're talking about speed limits first. I'm Trooper Steve, traffic safety expert here at WKMG News 6, and it is Friday, September 20th. Oh man, we've had a week. Every week is a week. We talk about it all the time. But yesterday out on patrol, we had Trooper Garcia in the truck. It was awesome. I had Ezzy here with our intern. Really good time. Our streams have been really awesome lately, and it's because of you guys always submitting questions. So keep the questions coming. However you drop them in, we convert them either to an Ask Trooper Steve or to a Trooper Steve on patrol. But if you're reading that headline right here, right there, we're talking about lowering speed limits. How does it happen? Who do you go to talk about it? And how can you affect change if you really wanted to? But there's a lot to talk about really before we actually dive into that. And it's, I think, understanding how speed limits are determined. How are speed limits on a road established to even begin with? And in our traffic world, believe it or not, there's a bunch of nerds like me that love this stuff. But there's a higher level beyond anything I could think of because people are highly educated in it. So I'm going to break it down into two worlds. I'm an operational traffic guy, not an administrative traffic guy. What do I mean by that? Rules of the road, how to operate traffic safely, things like that. Enforcement, just driving constantly. But on the other side, the administrative side, we're talking about the smart folks, the people that study the engineering, the logistics, the infrastructure behind it. My background is not that. It's operational. So I used to chair what's called the County Traffic Safety Team, CTST. And I chaired that along with Lieutenant Kim Montez, and it's an organization that is comprised of multiple traffic departments throughout a county. In that county area, you have the Florida Department of Transportation. Their engineers are brilliant. And in the traffic world, we use a thing called the 85th percentile. So 85% of drivers on the road are driving in a manner that is conducive, that is appropriate with the environment. You keeping with me? Right? So 85% of our drivers every day are automatically doing what they're supposed to be doing within their means, within the environment that they're operating their car. All right? So that 85% of all drivers traveling at a reasonably safe speed for various roadways and conditions, regardless of the speed limit. So what they're saying is, what the Florida Department of Transportation is saying, that drivers genuinely want to do the right thing. So by nature, we are doing that right thing. But if you think about it, we have 15% of drivers, you got to be reminded of certain things, of the maximum speed limit. And that reminder is kind of conducted through enforcement side, my side of things, right? So I have some DOT kind of bullet points up here that I wanted to talk about, and they do address the 85th percentile. So they specifically say the 85th percentile method of determining appropriate and safe posted speed limit in conjunction with the maximum state-based speed statute. This method is based on extensive national accepted studies and observations. So what do? They tell you, by measuring the speed of hundreds of vehicles at various points along the roadway, traffic engineers are able to use that data to determine a reasonable and safe maximum speed for the vehicles out there. Okay? So that is how speed limits are kind of taken into consideration. But what else is taken into consideration? I'm going to take a sip of my Coke, and then we're going to go for a drive. So, I know, guys, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sipping a Coke Zero. Not healthy, but I've been up since 2 o'clock, so I get to do that. So, we're going to leave this beautiful park here. I love watching people out here. Two guys out with one of their kids or something, just hanging out. Really nice to see that on a beautiful Friday. It is gorgeous outside, currently 83 degrees. At least that's what results one is reading. Meteorologist Michelle Morgan giving us a great forecast this morning. Drier weather in our forecast, so make sure you are careful. That car looked, in my business we say a Signal 13V. That car looked highly suspicious. But we're here talking about lowering speed limits today, not about trying to find suspicious vehicles. So, but my trooper sense in me was like staring at that car for a second. All right, but what influences your speed limits, right? What can influence the speed? So I'll say this. First, a speed limit, when it is determined to be some type of, what am I talking about? When a speed limit is determined on the roadway, it has been determined at perfect weather conditions, perfect roadway conditions. So what do I mean by that? It is not taking into consideration ice, wet roadways, things like that. So when you are out and about, just because something says, like here, well, this isn't a good example, but if we were out on 417 and something says 70 miles an hour and it is absolutely pouring outside, that does not mean you should be doing 70 miles an hour. At the end of the day, that would be the maximum posted speed limit. But if the roadways are wet, you can't see the vehicles in front of you, your visibility is limited, then that's where the statute comes in too fast for conditions. You're going to start to hydroplane. You're going to start to lose some balance out on the roadway. Your traction on your tires are going to pop off. So speed limits are placed in moments to where the conditions are genuinely flawless. So keep that in mind. A driver's choice of speed is a balance between experience and safety, right? So the safety being what we were just talking about. If it's too crazy out there, then you need to chill out. But if you're a new driver, then you shouldn't be out there doing crazy stuff anyways, because then you're going to end up being a clown, right? So, and is often a subconscious reaction to the environment. So what does that mean? That right now, it is gorgeous outside. I'm out here by Lake Dot. We're approaching Lake Dot Drive. Gonna make a left here on Fairmount. I stop, I make a complete stop, I look left, I look right, and I have a car coming. So I'm gonna hang out for a second. It's beautiful, but I could see it, so we're good. So I'm gonna pull on out, and we're gonna continue on with our day. But speed limits also take into consideration what you see around here. What are you seeing right now? Residents. So you're not gonna get a 50 mile per hour speed right here because you have residential homes. But then, if you take in the totality of the circumstances of what we're calculating here, the 85th percentile, if we sat here, 85% of the cars most likely would be doing anywhere from 25 to 30 mile an hour through this area. So the vehicle speed chosen by a driver may be influenced by a few different things. The presence of other vehicles, or even, I like that word, the pressure. Sometimes other drivers are following too close. What are you going to do? You're going to cut across. All right, we'll make our right-hand turn. But weather on the roadway, other vehicles, roadway conditions, geometrics of the road. And then there's a whole list of things that could influence a driver's selected speed. Time of the day, right? Ambient lighting. What else? The urgency maybe of your trip. How often are people in a ridiculous rush out there and then they're speeding, right? So if you're just joining us this morning, we're talking about speed limits, lowering speed limits. So now I'm going to kind of segue into that because it has happened, but we've also seen increase in speed limits, right? we've seen 2 major roadways here in Central Florida see an increase in speed. What were those roads? Do you guys remember? Do you? 417, when Governor Rick Scott was around, he changed the speed limit there. Also, on State Road 408. So 417, way back, used to be a 65 mile an hour highway. Over time, that 85th percentile, along with some crash data, was placed in. We need to up this. And then I was saying for years, 408 is too slow. 55 mile an hour speed limit when you have 8 lanes of traffic, 404. That's what we do. We give it the total. And it was just too slow. Crashes were occurring. Tailgating. Traffic builds up. So they did the study. Boom, they increased the speed limit. I personally have never seen a speed limit decreased. I have not. That's not saying it doesn't happen, because it does. So if for whatever reason we were out here, 1792, approaching State Road 417, this here is a posted 45 mile an hour speed limit. So we're going to take everything we said and just flip it. If for whatever reason 45 through this area, which it's not, was too fast, and over time the complaints were there, the crash data started to show that, hey, we have a problem, then there would be a crash study. Why am I not including the 85th percentile? Because what would happen here would be a forced change in behavior. Okay? So you would go, I'm saying you, whoa, look at this, guys. Sorry, I don't mean to get distracted. Talk about pulling out late and blocking a whole bunch of lanes. And the Stella gets the clown of the day. Just blocking them all. We got at least one clown on a normal. Look at this, guys. Turn lane block, through lane block. I'm not getting close to that. Can you imagine I get close and then he clips me? Oh my gosh, I'd be so mad. So I'm going to wait for a second, let him straighten out. All right, thank you. Stella. Okay. So we were saying it'd be a forced change of behavior because of what's happening. So if you felt that in your area a street was just, the speed limit was way too fast, and I'm going to be the first one to tell you this does not happen often, and because of the equations we use, it's very, very rare where you're going to see a decrease in a speed limit. You would need to see some really obvious signs of egregious driving. So what would you do to flat out answer the question? You would need documentation as to why you are requesting this. This is the biggest problem I have ever seen, is viewers, complainants, residents, they will say, the drivers out here are driving so fast, crashes are happening. Okay? How fast are they driving, and when were the crashes? I don't know. There's been so many. Okay? What is so many? A lot. That's not going to get you any type of results. Do you think if our investigators went to Tallahassee and Matt Austin went to Tallahassee to get the texting and driving law changed, if they just went up there without meat and potatoes and just a salad and said, well, people shouldn't text and drive. Okay, well, give me why you want this changed. Well, us at News 6 just feel it's necessary. A lawmaker would look at us like we had a closed head injury. This is how we got it changed, is we had the data. We showed what was happening. Matt was struck by the results of it. We took the crash data locally and we truly showed what was happening. Some of you would say, well, that's DOT's problem. No, you're the one with the complaint, or you're the one wanting to get results, so you're the one that has to do the work. So you're going to get whatever information is you've collected, and then you'd contact your local, depending on where the roadway is. If it's a local residential road, you'd start wherever you're living. So you'd file your complaint with, say, Seminole County government, Orange County government, so they can get you routed. If that doesn't get you any results, then you can contact the Florida Department of Transportation. Each of our areas, I believe we are District 5, has a district secretary. What do I mean? An appointed district secretary that oversees the entire area. Listen, they do so much, whether it's proactive, whether it's reactive, all of it, all the time, in getting results on our roadway. We see the constant change, all right? So I'm going to let you guys go on that note. I think we really broke into what speed limits are, how they are determined, what the 85th percentile rule is when it comes to traffic management, what determines speed limits. Sometimes just because it says it's the speed limit, maybe we should be going a little below if things are too crazy out and about, right? But at the end of the day, the speed limit is a traffic control device. It is there for a reason. Nobody has just randomly put it there. I promise you, studies were done beyond your wildest imagination to make sure that that speed limit was placed when it was at a proper time. Doesn't mean things can't change. We see that roadways change around here all the time. So guys, I appreciate questions like that. I get to educate myself when I don't know the answer because I get to take a dive. I spent some time this morning talking with the Florida Department of Transportation, getting some information from them because I don't know everything, but it's my job to at least give it to you in a conversational way. So I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Please be safe. Looks like we're going to have some really nice weather this weekend, and I want to see you Monday morning. All right? Have a great day, guys. Drive safely. Love you all. Wear your seatbelts. Talk to you later.